As you already know, to solve this type of problems, we can follow different procedures. I will use two of them here. The first one is using conversion factors and the mole ratio. Remember that the mole ratio is the relationship between the coefficients in the balanced reaction. If there is no coefficient, you already know that it is 1, if it is not written coefficient. So here the mole ratios we have is 2 hydrogens with 1 oxygen and with 2 water molecules. Here they are asking for how many grams of water vapor are produced from 55 grams of oxygen. So let's start with option number 1 will be start with 55 grams of O2, then transform the grams of oxygen into moles of oxygen. For this I will use the molar mass. 32 grams of O2 equals 1 mole of O2. Here what I have, if I stop my calculations here, I will have moles of O2. Then these moles of O2 need to be transformed into moles of water. So here I will use the mole ratio. The mole ratio is 1 mole of oxygen that is equivalent to 2 moles of water. If I stop the calculations here, my result will be moles of H2O. But I want grams, so I can continue here, and now I will use the molar mass of water, that is 1 mole of H2O equals 18 grams. And now the result, if I stop here, will be grams of H2O. You can see this clearly by cancelling units. Grams with grams, what remains is moles. Then moles of O2, what remains is moles of H2O. And then moles of water with moles of water, what remains here is grams of water. If I cancel all the units and I just do the number calculations, that will be is 55 times 2 times 18 divided by 32. Now I know that the units here will be grams of H2O, and then what I have is 55 times 2 times 18 divided by 32. We have 61.875 grams of H2O. This is one of the possible procedures you can follow. In the case you want to work with rules of 3, to use rules of 3 is better if you have the same units for everything. So as we have grams of oxygen and we want grams of water, it will be good for you if you write the reaction in grams. So we have 2 moles of hydrogen. The molar mass for hydrogen is 2 grams per mole. So I have 4 grams of hydrogen will react with 32 grams of oxygen, that is 1 mole, to produce 2 times 18, 36 grams of H2O. As you can see here, we have the same amount of grams in both sides. So now I can use either conversion factors in grams or rules of 3. Let's do it with rules of 3. If I have these equivalences in grams, I can say that if 32 grams of oxygen produce 36 grams of water, the 55 grams of oxygen I have, how many grams of water will it be? And according to the procedure to solve a rule of 3, is this times this divided by this. That is 55. Oh, it's very, let me make it better. 55 times 36 divided by 32. And here again we can cancel units. Grams of oxygen with grams of oxygen. And the unit we have in this side is grams of water. So it is 55 times 36 divided by 32. Again we have 61.875 grams of H2O. So these are two of the many possible procedures you can use to solve this problem.